Hello everyone. Today we would like to present about the techniques of sewing women handbags. In our team, we have two teachers, that is, Professor Chintana Inpakdi and Teacher Jirapon Chumchit. We have three students. The first, Adisak Peksi, the second, Siripon Intakon, and the last, Siripon Kamtan. We are in home economics major, fashion design and textile minor, science and technology faculty of Thailand. Handbag sewing. The materials. Hand woven fabric. In this case, we use plain fabric, the red fabric. Hand woven fabric. In this case, we use pattern or striped fabric. Embroidery thread, sewing thread, 10 inches of zipper, and the last, jersey fabric or lining fabric to stick between outside and inside. The equipment, a sewing machine. If you don't have this, you can use hand sewing. The rotary cutter, scissors, tape measure, pencil, pattern paper, cutting mat, iron, and pins. Pattern design step. The first step. The first pieces of striped fabric we should measure in the width is 2.7 inches and the length is 5.5 inches, covering the seam allowance around 0.25 inches. The second step. The plain fabric pieces. We should measure 6.75 inches of the width and the length is 5.5 inches, covering the seam allowance around 0.25 inches. The third step. Make a hand strap by measuring width 2 inches and 11 inches, allowance 0.25 inches for round stitch. The fourth step. To making lining of the bag, we should measuring a width of 10 inches and the length is 5.5 inches and the same of 0.25 inches for seam allowance. In the step of fabric cutting process. The first step. Striped fabric. We should cut the fabric according to the pattern size, among 2 pieces. The second step. Plain fabric. We should cut the fabric according to the pattern size among 2 pieces. The third step. A hand strap. We should measure 2 inches of the width and the length is 11 inches, and we should make among 2 pieces. The fourth step, the lining fabric of the bag, we should measure 10 inches of the width, and the length is 5.5 inches among 2 pieces. In the sewing step, the first step, take the striped fabric and the plain fabric to sew them together with side of the fabric facing each other. Sew the seam process on the both pieces. The second step, iron and stitch both pieces as shown in the picture. The third step, sew the hand strap by folding the length in half and sew a foot about 0.25 inches, following the red line of example, and then we should turn the seam inward and iron it on the seam in the middle. The fourth step, place the zipper against to the mouth of the bag, facing the fabric on the right side, hitting the zipper. The hem and the zipper are even. Then sew a foot approximately 0.25 inch, working one side at a time, completing both sides. The fifth step, take the hand strap and sew it to the back by sticking down 0.75 to 1 inch below the zipper. You can see the yellow sewing in the line of picture. The sixth step, fold the fabric side together, where both the bottom and the side of the bag are equal. Sew on both sides and bottom of the bag along the red patch. Seventh step, sew both ends of the bottom of the bag along the seam for a sewing machine foot approximately 0.25 inch, and then turn back the bag and nearly arrange. The eighth step, sew both lining pieces together by facing the fabric on the right side together and holding the edge evenly, and then sew both sides of the fabric and both of the bottom of the bag. Sew along in indicate stitch. A sewing machine foot about 0.25 inches as a step 6. Step 9. Sew both sides of bottom of the lining. Do the same as in step 7 in the number 1 step. Then iron the fold of bag 0.25 inch down. In the picture, it is number 2. The 10th step, the lining fabric. We should sew the bag by facing the wrong side each other. Use a pin to pin all around. And then we should use a needle roll around the mouth of the bag. The 11th step. Decorate the bag with stitching or the seam by hand as required.